Bees. We're going to tell you the story about Papa Hanamoku and Wakea. And so she was the Earth Mother, and he was the Sky Father. They got together, and they did what the birds and the bees supposedly do. And they had Hawaii Island first. So Hawaii was the highest rank, and Maui was their second child or island, and then Ho'ohukalani and Wakea Oku. Ho'ohukalani was their last child, and the first chunk of their children. She was this beautiful, wonderful daughter, and she was so beautiful that her father Wakea fell for her, and so they did the birds and the bees thing, and they had Haloa Naka. We're gonna just say Haloa Naka, which was their baby that was born, but he died, and so she buried him. And from the place where she buried him was the first kalo plant, and so it's like the oldest brother of all of the Native Hawaiians. And then their second child, Haloa, was the first Ali'i Nui, the highest ranked chief, and he's the ancestor of all the Native Hawaiians. And then Papa was pretty upset when she found out that her daughter was sleeping with her husband, or not husband, but her dude. And so she went off and found Lua, I think from Tahiti, and she had the island we're on now, Oahu. And then she was like, he's pretty cool anyway, so I guess we can go do the birds and the bees thing again. So they got back together and had 4 more islands, which is like, whew, wow, lady. Hawaii, Niihau, Kaula, and then Lehua together. And so that's kind of the story of all their children and their island, beautiful island babies.
And then from the story, there are 3 different lessons that are important to remember for our test. The first one is Malama Anina, which is to make sure you care for the land, because basically it provides for us, so we should take care of it so we can continue to coexist with it really well.
Okay, what were the 2?
The 2 relationships. The relationships. Hold on. I have Kaikana, something like that. Kaikana and Kaikuana.
Yes.
Okay, which were the younger and older siblings, and that we should just protect, or when they protect, shelter, feed, clothe, and love us, we should respect and don't pollute or litter.
And I'm doing the second part of the lesson, and it's it's the sacred eating, what they are supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. Of course, the men and the women, they eat separately. The men prepared to separate ovens to cook. They built 2 separate houses. The men worshiped for nights each lunar month. Men were the only ones who could be offered as a sacrifice, and women could not eat certain foods like aku, bonito, coconuts, bananas, and pig.
Okay, why couldn't they eat those certain foods?
Why they couldn't? Because they would tongue-tied. That's a defiling act, right?
No, but what do those foods represent?
Oh, the pig. Oh, I know what the coconuts represent. And the banana represented almost the same thing. And the pig was, I don't remember what
he was rooting in the earth.
Oh yeah, rooting in the
so
earth.
He was like
so
rooting in the
anything
fertile
else in
earth.
the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so the banana was who was what did the banana represent? Like whose embodiment or kinolo? Whose kinolo was the banana?
The male?
Wasn't
What male? Kanaloa. Yeah? Who was the pig?
Lono.
Lono.
Yeah, okay.
Who was the coconut? Ku. And then the red fish? Yeah, I didn't have any. That's a trick question. Good job.
I didn't put that one in.
Yeah. Okay, so those were kinolo of the 4 major male gods, right? So that's why they could not eat those certain foods. Okay.
That's it?
well, and then we have
Oh yeah,
Oh.
3, I'm sorry. Okay.
And we have Io, which means mating of a brother and sister. And when they have children, it's Pio, and that's their kids, and that's like the chief of the highest rank. It's familial dating as mating. And it's like mom, son, and daughter, and dad kind of thing. It actually means arching of coconut from into the rib, and
It was done usually with chiefs because it was a political move, or it could have been a political move a lot of the time to try to keep their ranks really high by mating of two very high-ranked people. So oftentimes they were related to each other, and yeah.
And what were the Neopio chiefs considered on Earth?
Highest ranking.
The highest ranking, Akua.
Yeah.
And that's why they were able to. Can we say that?
What?
Can we say that, Bob? They were highest ranking, and why they stayed the highest ranking? There's somebody else's stuff.
Oh no, that was your guys' stuff. No, I just wanted you guys to realize that the Neopio chiefs, they were the highest ranked chiefs in the islands. They were considered Akua on Earth. Okay? Good job, you guys.
Thank you. Next.
You guys don't need to know Oahu, Molokai, or Lanai.
You done?
You guys don't need to know that for the exam. The main islands, the main birthing I'm talking about is everything on that board except for Oahu. That was just for you guys' information.
So Kahula and
So we don't even know the five.
Those are atolls now. They used to be islands. You know how the islands stayed. Okay.
Okay, so basically what I'm thinking, like exam, we just have to know everything about yourself, everything every day we're going to talk about that.
But we're going over it. You guys seem to know it well.
5 minutes.
Yeah, it's good.
You guys are good. Okay, relationships.
all of us are super good at that.
Stop walking in front of the book.
Okay.
Okay, so our first relationship is a po'olua. And it's a child of multiple mating. So basically a woman can get with one man and then get with another man, and the child can pull lines from both. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Punalua is relationships of mates, so two guys, two one girl, he had one kid, but he has two genealogies.
No.
Something like that.
Punalua is the relationship between the mates. So we're talking about if this is a po'olua child, and a female mates with two men.
Has two dads.
Oh yeah, two dads, yeah. Their child is considered po'olua. The relationship between the mother and this one man, and the mother and this other man, and these two men, their relationship to each other is called a punalua relationship. Okay? That's, yeah.
Okay, now we all learned.
Alright.
Aikane actually means Hawaiian land. And in our notes it says making love to a man. That's not really, it's like kind of complicated. It's like a friend that, like,
Has benefits.
Friend with benefits.
Has benefits.
okay, say you go to a bar, you're with the homies, go out with the boys, yeah, drinking, partying. There's no chicks around.
Oh no, they ain't good, but that's I know what you're
Yeah,
saying.
there's no
Go ahead.
chicks around, you know.
They ain't too cool.
Keep on drinking. You keep on drinking. Just taking shots, whatever. You know,
I'll
you're
never
kind of
get
tipsy
that.
by now. There's still no girls around. Looking at your homie, you know. So you're kind of screwed right now, you know. Brother got it going on, so.
That's a
you know,
lot of
you
drinking.
guys- You guys go poke squid.
No.
Everything's all good. You're not Mahu, you know. And you just go on with your regular life. She's your icon.
Usually
I love it.
more than we're needing to make them an iconic, but we will go on with
Just 1 week. That was just Friday night.
Oh, it takes more than 1 week?
Okay, aikane literally means to make love to a man, okay? The I we're talking about here has no okina. So we're talking, so that word literally means to make love to a man, okay? All right, what is mahu?
Something I should never press.
So Mahu is gender class, not sexuality. So yeah. So
So like a man could classify himself as a woman and I guess like take on the role of a woman and a woman could do the same. But
Transgender.
during the time of procreation they would still like
Be who they are.
make babies.
Okay, and why is it not a sexuality? How is it a gender class? Like, give me an example. Like, okay, so there was male, females, and mahu, right? That's a gender class. It wasn't who they made love with that made them mahu, right?
I got that. I got what you're saying.
Okay, good job. Okay, good job.
Good job.
And then we also had to talk about the navigator's worksheet. And then it was basically about Mike Tug, who I love. And he was from Sarawak, Micronesia. And he talked about the art of navigating and how it's diminishing in Micronesia because he's probably the last one to know the art of navigating. And then the relationship between Hawaii and its migration is that Thor Heyerdahl believed that Polynesians, like in Hawaii, they're from South America and or South Asia.
Do we need to know that stuff for the test too, the worksheets?
Yeah, you guys just need to know the worksheet. But for the
How long is the test?
it's only like 50 questions. But there's only 2 migration theories, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's only 2 so we migrated here from Southeast Asia and South America.
Yeah, we came around.
Yeah, okay. So we have 2 migration theories. Why is the story of Papua New Guinea not a migration story? It's a creation story. Okay, good. Do not get confused with that question on the exam. When I ask how many migration theories there are, I'm talking about actual movement. Yeah. The Kumulipo is a creation story. We were migrating here from Southeast Asia, or another theory is that we drifted here from South America. Okay, good? Okay, is that all? Okay, good job. Okay.
Which don't kill vibes. I like that shit. I didn't know I was predicting. Nobody did.
Yeah, Kim said that she doesn't want to get a zero.
I know what you did, I know what you
Okay, you guys can go.
Okay. The important dates you guys need to know. Probably listen. Important dates you need to know. 1823 is when Hawaiian was reduced to written form. And then 1840 is when 90% of the population was literate in Hawaiian.
In 1850, the Masters and Servants Act was passed, and it granted permission to bring foreign labor.
And in 1851, there was the first government-run schools that opened, and this caused the decline of Hawaiian medium schools, so it's really important. In 1852, there was the first shipment of 200 Chinese plantation workers, and that has to do with the 1858.
Oh, before this 1896, I put 1893 was important because that was the overthrow of the Han Kingdom. So I should have written that down.
It was a what?
Overthrow.
So then in 1896, English becomes the medium for instruction in schools. But then in 1900, Hawaii becomes a territory of the U.S. And 1978 is when Hawaiian becomes an official language of Hawaii. languages, it's kind of tricky. But the most important thing you need to know is that the people we migrated, or people in Hawaii migrated from Southeast Asia into the Pacific. So it's really backing up that first migration theory. The first language is Proto-Austronesian, which eventually turns into Proto-Oceanic, which evolves into Proto-Central Pacific, which breaks into 3 different subsections. We have West, East, and Proto-Polynesia. West consisting of mostly Fiji, North Fiji, or East Fiji and West Fiji, and then East is Northeast Fiji. So Fiji's kind of like that cutting line between the West and the East, and then everything after Fiji is Polynesia and Hawaii and Samoa.
Okay, you guys don't need to know you guys need to know that it breaks off into West, East, and Proto-Polynesian, but you guys don't need to know like exactly, that stuff. Okay?
Alright.
Alright, I'm gonna stay here till 12. You guys can if you want. It's up to you guys. But can I have who's group 5? Can you guys stay? Or are you guys gonna go with?
Sure, we'll take
Where are we going?
You guys gonna go? Okay, group 5 is Boogie Wakiango, Pigeon, Creole, and the Culture Workshop.
We're not that, never mind.
You guys have to go? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, whoever can stay. Huh?